West Ham fans. I'm Joe.
I'm Sam.
And welcome back to Have Your West Ham View.
Bosh.
So, World Cup.
Yeah.
England are out of the World Cup.
Let's jump straight onto it. We are mourning. Morning. Well, this afternoon.
It's not a great day today, is it?
No, it's not. Hopefully we can be a bit of a positive, I don't know how you put it, put a smile back on people's faces, but it's going to take a while, and I think now we're out.
Hurt for a little while.
It is, yeah. We've got 2 weeks until the Premier League kicks off again, and I think people are going to need those 2 weeks to sort of get over it. It's to go out in the quarters against France of all people. The run till the quarters hasn't really been too hard,
too difficult. Kind of expected to get that far. I think we should have got that far as a minimum, and we did obviously. But I think overall we deserved to win it. I think a lot of people will say the same. We deserved to win it. Referee wasn't great, was he? But
it weren't great. I think the officiating throughout the whole tournament has been pretty poor.
It's been shocking, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk about it later, but the Netherlands-Argentina game was some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. He was brandishing cards out.
Record number of cards in a World Cup game.
Yeah, he was more interested in what was going on the bench than he actually was.
Yeah,
with what was going on.
It was all about him,
pitch.
wasn't it?
It was.
He booked 2 players on the bench in the first half.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you?
It's mad. It's absolutely mad.
But anyway, so that was that's what happened last night. Thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, jump straight into it.
Their goal.
Yeah, their goal. 1-0 down.
It's a great goal, I think.
It's a good goal.
But there's an obvious foul on Saka in the build-up.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone can deny that. If you look at the replay, there's no way that's not a foul.
No, which we'll chop it into the video, just a short clip of the foul, and it's not long before they go down the other end and score. And I think if you look at the goal, it's gone wide. It's come. I think actually, although Rice had a brilliant game, and that's not being biased, because as I said to you before we come on to the pod, normally I'll be in the pub and I'll be watching England and I'll be pro Rice. I'll be like, did you see that? Did you see what he's done? Yeah. But last night everyone was saying it. He had a brilliant game. Yeah. But the only time during the game I can remember where he actually got done was in the build-up to their first goal. Not that it was his fault. Yeah. But Mbappe come in from the left-hand side and he actually went round Rice.
Yeah.
And then,
I think he won. I saw a stat. He won 2 out of 3 tackles, and that must have been the one that he missed.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Bar that, he didn't put a foot wrong all game.
Yeah.
But the ball's gone wide. It's come back to the edge, and I'm screaming, "Get out!" And Bellingham did. It got right out to his toes.
Yeah.
But it just weren't enough, and Tuchemeni put it right in the bottom corner.
It's a great finish, but like we said, it's in the build-up. It's an obvious foul, and it's here or there whether they would have scored if he'd given that as a free kick. We could have had the free kick. They still could have got it and gone down the other end and scored. But ultimately, it's a foul. And I think they brought in Peter Walton on commentary, which is just the most pointless thing you've ever seen. Because
whose name did he forget as well? He forgot
Saka.
Name. Yeah,
he called him Baka, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's like you're commentating on a World Cup quarter final for your own country. You don't know our players' names. But he said, because it's 25 seconds before the goal is actually scored, so it's too far to go back with VAR. It's like, it's 25 seconds, but it's the same attacking phase.
Yeah, I mean, even if against, because I don't know for sure from the laws, it's a foul.
It's a foul,
How has the ref missed it in the first place?
If they went and scored 5 minutes later, fair enough, you're not going to go back.
No.
But 25 seconds, that's not a lot of time in football.
No,
he's gone down the other end, he's gone across the pitch, back into the middle, and they've scored, so... Yeah, I don't understand how that one was a goal. But anyway, we move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a goal, and I was worried, because talking about it before the game, I was kind of thinking to myself, if we go 1 down, I don't know if we've got the bottle to come back.
Into it, yeah.
I think if we go 1 up, I think actually we've been 1 up in a couple of different occasions in major tournaments recently, and I've kind of thought to myself, we'll have the experience to then go, actually, those times we didn't go at it, whereas I thought if we go 1-0 up this time, we could actually go at it, get 2.
Yeah.
But 1-0 down,
we had to do the opposite.
I
was 1-0 down and had to go for it, which we did, to be fair.
Yeah,
and then we come out of it, and Kane, was it a free kick or a penalty? That's the thing.
We've had a quick discussion again before, and for me, it's whether it's a pen or a free kick or not, it's a foul.
Yeah,
and the ref didn't give either.
Yeah.
If the ref gave a pen and they looked at it and they drew the lines and actually realised it was a free kick or vice versa,
you've still got a free kick out of it. But
he's missed it.
Ultimately, it's a foul. And again, it's like you said, how's he not even looked at that?
No.
Or given something. Like you said, either give a free kick or give a penalty, and then you've got VAR there to support you. But how you can see that, and you've got a linesman there as well.
Yeah.
How you can see that and go, no, do you know what? It's not foul either way. So how was that?
No. For me, and I'm going to put neck on the line and say that it was a free kick. But in the moment, I was saying it was a pen.
Yeah.
But you watch it back, the first contact's just outside the box, I think.
Depends on the angle as well, though. Because I think the angle we saw was from behind Kane. So you're looking at Kane and the line is parallel to where we're looking. So it's difficult to tell whether it's inside or outside. But then you need a camera angle where it's directly along the penalty box line. So you can see whether it's in or out. But either way, it's a foul. So
the ref missed it.
Again.
Yeah. Didn't even get the ref to go and have a look at the monitor, which is what tells me they know it's a free kick. And I think if it was in the box, they would have said go and have a look at the screen and make your own decision. But I think he's made the call that he didn't think it was a foul, even though it was a clear foul. And then they decided, you've missed that, mate. So it's outside the box. We'll move on.
Get on with it.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah.
I think if that, I mean, it's funny, and I was talking to my dad about it before I come in, and you know. For all the good things England did, we kept the ball well. We're talking about 2 penalties. We're talking about set pieces from Maguire.
Controversial decisions from the ref. Set pieces.
We didn't do anything much from open play. The only one I can think of was when the ball went into Kane and he could have chipped the keeper and could save it.
Lloris saved it, and Bellingham had a shot which was straight at. It was a great strike, but it was straight at Lloris. Again, it's a half decent save, but that's it really. And then
bar that.
I think Kane had a deflected shot as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he had that one outside the box.
But other than that, like I said, there wasn't much.
No.
We said Foden, I think he did sort of go missing a bit in the first half.
He did. I'm surprised. I was screaming for Rashford to come on. And although Foden then had a better second half, he carried the ball well. He didn't really. I think Senegal, there was less pressure. I think in a game like France, if you don't set the tone early, which I think Saka did more of, I think he had to be taken off and screaming for Rashford. He brings Sterling, and I think Sterling off the back of travelling and
in fairness to Sterling, like fair enough, like it's not Sterling's fault that he got brought on, but in the build up, it was spoken about, and it was like Sterling's probably not going to play. He's only got back last night late or something. He's been through something terrible with his family, like his house been broken into. His head's probably not in the right place. And then Southgate thinks, do you know what, I'm going to stick him on in front of Rashford. You've got a lot of other players on the bench. You've got Grealish. James Maddison. Maddison didn't get a minute the whole World Cup. No. What was the point in taking him?
No, I know.
Probably our most, from the stats, one of England's most creative players, goals and assists wise, and he doesn't get a minute. No. Even like our game against Wales, you're 3-0 up, you're going through, it's guaranteed.
Just stick him on.
Yeah. Put him on, put Conor Gallagher on, some other players that wouldn't, like they haven't played in the World Cup before, just get them on so they've had the minutes. But no, he didn't choose to. Same old Southgate with his substitutions, I thought. Too late. Yeah, it was too late and the wrong subs.
Yeah, it was late. I mean, Grealish come on like the 90-odd minute.
I think there was 8 minutes added time, weren't there? Grealish come on in about the 94th minute.
Yeah, but I mean,
and Rashford as well.
We did come out in the second half, and we got the penalty. I think it was a brilliant play from Saka down the wing. 1-2 with Bellingham, drove into the box. He was causing a lot of problems, Saka, and that's when I compare him to Foden. I think actually Saka had a much better game. And
got the ball and run at people, didn't they? Which is what you have to do.
Yeah, and good penalty from Kane.
Quality penalty.
You, as I said before, he took his second penalty. You pick anyone in the world current player to take the penalty. You pick Harry Kane.
Yeah,
and he scores against his club. Fellow club teammate, and we're back in the game 1-0. And I'm thinking, right, you know what, we can do this. They've done nothing all second half.
And then because they got the goal and set off, didn't they?
Yeah, and then bang,
straight down the other end.
They nearly scored straight away, didn't they?
Yeah. And then
we were still celebrating. We were still celebrating the equaliser. So you turn around and look at the screen. And you think, fuck.
There's a massive gap in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
Massive gap. Rabiot goes through and Pickford saves it. But and then from there they went and got their second goal, which was
Griezmann on the wing.
I think it was from a I might be wrong, but I think it was a set piece initially.
Yeah.
Either a corner or free kick. The ball went back to their halfway, like to the halfway line, to their defender.
Shuffled back round to the wing.
Round to the wing. Henderson was closing him down. Didn't stop the cross.
No.
Which
Giroud.
it's not really Henderson's fault. He chased it to the halfway line and then followed it back, so he couldn't get there necessarily. Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, it's a great cross. Maguire should know that. I mean, France have one aerial threat in that whole team.
I know.
And he's the one on the end of it.
The trouble
Maguire,
is...
You've got to know that he's making that near post run. He's done it his whole career.
Yeah.
And Maguire gets there, but Giroud still gets there first.
I know. The trouble is with Giroud, I think Van Dijk said it. I think Van Dijk had an interview and he was like, who's the toughest player you play against? And he actually said Giroud. Because somehow, however he plays, good or bad, he always seems to be there, and he always seems to sniff out a chance. And whilst I think you could argue Maguire should have got across him, been more aware, and yes, the header actually come off Maguire, but Giroud, he's a top player, and he's not underrated because he's France's top scorer.
He's been there and done it. He's got the stats. He's record top scorer. He's scored goals at every club he's been at.
Yeah,
he's won leagues. Has he won the Champions League? Did he win it with Chelsea?
I think he did win the Champions League with Chelsea.
Definitely won Europa.
Yeah.
Won the World Cup, obviously.
Yeah.
I think he won... Because he was at Montpellier, wasn't he? Start of his career. He won something there, whether it was a cup or got top 4 or something or other. But yeah.
Either way, he's a top quality striker. And I think he
can't criticise Maguire too much because, like we said, ultimately Giroud's a very good striker and he always has been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you've got to... Ultimately, you've got to stop the cross, haven't you?
You have.
Because as soon as that goes in the box, he's a threat.
Yeah. But this is what the top teams do. They can score or go out of nothing, and we seem to keep the ball and fart about of it, and you kind of think, where's the penetration? And then they get the ball, get over goal, and you think, where's that come from?
Yeah.
But then we get a chance. We get another chance, and you don't think we're even going to... You think we might get a half chance, but we get another penalty. And my good mate Rico's a massive Tottenham fan. He's like, it's a goal.
Yeah,
it's a goal. It's Kane. It's a goal. In the pub where we was, you can feel the anticipation in the room. You can feel the excitement. Everyone's thinking it's a goal. It's a goal.
You're back in it. Either get a winner or go extra time. But I wanted us to score it, but in my head I was thinking, do you know what? I don't know if he's going to score it because after the first penalty, I was with Jade's family, and they're all Spurs fans. So they obviously love Kane.
Yeah.
And I said after he scored the first one, I said, he's got some bottle to step up against his teammate, like his club teammate, and stick it in the top corner. Fair play. And then the second one, I thought it's very rare that a player scores 2 penalties in the game.
Yeah.
Because first of all, he's beaten his club teammate on the first one, which obviously a lot of people would have probably doubted he would do because Lloris knows him, knows where he's going to go, and then to step up and take the second one, I was hoping he's going to score it, but in my head I thought I can't see him scoring it because
for me,
it's like, where do you put it?
Just hit the target.
The
target. You don't know. If Lloris saves it, you say fair enough.
Yeah.
But just hit the target. I feel for the boy. I really do. I feel for Kane.
Yeah.
This is it. He's peak. He's 29, I think. This is his peak. This is his moment. This is his moment to get the team back in the game again. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on him. Well, you can't even fathom what's going through his mind. Then last night, right now. But ultimately,
just hit the target.
Just hit the target. Yeah. It's just hit the target. But let's not dwell
on it
too much.
We can't say too much because obviously we're not the ones there taking a penalty in front of millions of people.
No.
But
let's not dwell on it too much.
Yeah. Anyway, he missed it. We move on.
Yeah.
Gutted. I'm sure he'll be gutted. Obviously the whole team will be gutted, wouldn't they? But we can't dwell on it.
No, as I said,
ultimately, overall as a whole, you look at our team and you've got Rice is 23, 24?
Yeah.
You've got Reece James 23, Foden 22.
Yeah.
Saka, Pickford's still young to 25?
Is he?
I think so. Saka 21, 20.
They're all really young. I think
I'm probably wrong with all these ages, but it'll be close.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right. We've got a lot of young players.
Bellingham's 19.
Yeah.
I think at the next tournament, the Euros, majority of that team will still be in there, with the exception of maybe Henderson. I don't know how old Henderson is. Is he 30 now?
He's early 30s, surely.
I think he might still be involved. Yeah. But yeah, majority of that team will still be there, and they would have been. Most of the players would have now played at 2 or 3 major tournaments.
Yeah.
And then you've got the odd one like Henderson, who's played at like 6 major tournaments now for England. But yeah, it's a young team. We're developing. We're going in the right direction. We've done well in the last few World Cups. Ultimately, last night I thought the performance was pretty good. I thought
it was, yeah.
But we've been
unlucky
punch. With obviously missing that penalty, and the refereeing performance wasn't up to
It's
standard,
probably
was it?
No, it's probably quite cliche to sit here and say it was a good performance, blah blah. But I think it was.
It was, yeah. You've only got to look at the stats.
Yeah.
We had more shots on target. We had more possession, more intent to go and get the goal.
Yeah.
Whereas they've had two counter attacks really,
chances,
and they've taken them. Which like fair play to them. They're taking their chances.
Yeah. For us, I just want us to be from open play. I want to see us create more, and I want to see us take more risks in we did it against in the group stages. We did it against Iran. We did it against Wales, and I feel like we tightened the belt a little bit against the better team. So USA.
Yeah.
They're nothing compared to France, but we even that game we was a bit tight.
It's just no risk taking.
No, less risk taking.
I think this is one thing that I think nowadays it really frustrates me because, in your defensive third in the middle, like play the insurance passes. You got to play. You don't play across the box. You got to find your man, play forwards, and it's got to be safe, like possession play. Really. Yeah. Take the risk every now and then if it's on. But ultimately, once you get in that final third, you've got to take chances. You've got to run at people, and that's why I think players like Saka and Neymar and Mbappe, all these sorts of players, they get the ball and they're not afraid to run at people.
No.
And I think you have to try that. And we won our penalty through Saka running into the box because players don't like it.
Yeah, and that was a great spell of play, and I wanted to see more of that Saka come inside.
Because he went into number 10, didn't he, for a brief spell, and he got the ball turned and ran into the box.
Do you know what? I think they probably spoke about it at half time because it was literally, I was looking at the game and I thought, God, Saka's really tucked inside there. And I said to my mate, I said, oh, he's tucked it. And then the ball literally goes straight to his feet. He swivels and he's got all this space. And then I was thinking, that's going to work. And it did.
But I think ultimately, once you're in that final third, you've got to take players on. I think that's where players like Rashford and Grealish would have been perfect because we were just getting the ball and it was like, not yesterday necessarily, but a lot of the time, in football in general, you see it get to the final third and it, like, you get everyone in the box and you get midfielders making late runs and then it goes back and it ends up on the halfway line, then you build up again. And from that, moving on to the other games in the World Cup, obviously, the one that I wanted to talk about was the Netherlands-Argentina game.
God,
because that was very similar in that for most of the game, up until sort of 80 minutes or so, Holland had most of the ball. Holland-Netherlands, whatever you want to call it.
One shot on
target, but they kept the ball the whole game pretty much.
Yeah.
Argentina were just sort of not sitting off as such, but they had their chances from Messi, obviously, but Holland had the ball the whole game, and they were getting into the final third, and it was coming back, and then it was going to Van Dijk, and then it was going sideways and backwards, and it's like, you've got all the ball, but you're not doing anything with it.
No, I know. It was strange, and then they put the big lumps on and started going route one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then, Weghorst was brilliant when he come on.
Yeah.
I think he come on 79th minute. He scored in the 83rd. Brilliant header, and then they got obviously deep into extra time. They managed to get another one from a beautifully worked free kick. When I was watching, I mean, you saw Van Dijk and all of the taller players around the back stick. They had their hands up.
Yeah.
They was going play around the back, and it was clearly a distraction.
Yeah.
Because then they snuck it in the middle.
Well, it was either that or have a shot. I was thinking, I was thinking, just blast it low towards the goal and see what happens, whether it's a rebound or a deflection or something. And then, they do that, and that was just ridiculous.
I mean,
fair play to them.
I've seen a clip. Weghorst actually did that for Wolfsburg
2 years earlier.
A couple of years. Yeah, and maybe they've worked on it, but that one was ridiculous. He was so unmarked for Wolfsburg, but this one, he had to do a lot still. He's back to goal.
Yeah.
Put it on his left foot.
Great finish.
And then you go extra time, and that was exciting, wasn't it? It was brilliant, really good.
All the cards going about.
Yeah.
Like tackles flying in. Obviously, him kicking the ball at the bench, which is...
Yeah.
That was it's funny from a neutral point of view.
Or Paradis, however you say it.
He flies into the tackle, doesn't he? And then
he was on a yellow as well.
Yeah,
he was already on a yellow.
And he flew into 2 tackles, actually, I think.
Yeah.
And the second one was a foul. Van Dijk flattens him, which is he wouldn't want to mess with Van Dijk.
That was probably one of the moments of the World Cup, I think, that Weghorst second goal.
Yeah, definitely. 100th minute, last chance of the game.
Yeah.
And then, it goes to extra time. Tackles flying in. But actually, in the build-up to when Argentina were 2-1 up, they just lost the plot.
Yeah.
And literally just stopped playing football. They just started trying to...
It's a South American thing, I think.
Yeah, they started trying to literally kill the Dutch players, flying into tackles, wasting time. But ultimately, that was their downfall, wasn't it?
It is. I think
the amount of time, there's 10 minutes added on, which I don't think there was 10 minutes that should have been added, but there was.
Yeah.
And they just stopped playing football, and then Netherlands went and got that second goal.
Yeah.
Took it to extra time.
And extra time, they decided to go back to their previous tactics and sit back. I mean, they've just spent 15 minutes
on top,
dominating the game, lumping balls forward,
yeah,
putting pressure on the Argentinians, and then they just start going back to what they was doing, and then Argentina build up again, and obviously it ends up going to penalties. Yeah. But I think it was really strange, and I think with the South American teams, they tend to lose their head, and they like Brazil, obviously going.
There's a lot of emotion involved, isn't there?
Brazil going out to Croatia, that was crazy. I mean, quite a dry game, quite a flat game.
Very flat.
But the extra time was good.
I'll tell you what was funny in that game. Oh, and by the way, in the Netherlands-Argentina game, Van Dijk goes up, like we were saying at the end, they had the big lads up front, and he stayed up. He got beaten in the air by Martinez.
Did he?
Van Dijk's 6'4", and Martinez is 5'10",
I think,
10 or 11. And he beats him in the air.
Yeah, that guy's got some jump on him. But still, that's
fair play. But how are you getting beaten in the air by him? But the Brazil-Croatia game, Jermaine Genius was on commentary. And first of all, he was calling Kovacic the whole game. Kovacic with a T.
Oh, yeah.
And it's you're a pundit commentating on the World Cup, the biggest tournament in the world probably. And you can't even... There's not even an excuse for calling him the wrong name. He's been in the Prem about 4 years.
It's hilarious,
and he's calling him Kovacic. And then the other thing he was saying was, Neymar's been absolutely terrible, digging him out, going for it.
I saw that, and then literally goes and scores.
Yeah, well, he was going, Neymar's been absolutely shocking. He's given the ball away every time. I would have taken him off by now if I was the manager. And I was thinking, Neymar's one of the best players in the world, has been for a long time now. He might have a terrible game, but he's got that moment in him where he can go and do something
that
amazing.
1-2,
which was quality. And I think Paqueta was in the build-up to that, obviously.
Yeah.
But so he's slagging him off, and then goes and scores that goal. So fair play to him. And then
beautiful goal. And then they like Argentina, they absolutely lost their heads.
Yeah, just emotion got into it too much.
No, there was no structure. There was no time wasting. There was nothing. There was no. They lost their heads completely, and then ended up. Good goal. Modric key. Modric's had a great tournament so far.
He's just different class.
Yeah. Croatia are resilient, and they did it against us. They did it against obviously who they beat, Japan. They did it against Japan, who were a tough side.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see Croatia come up against another South American side in Argentina.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, the Brazil lineup for the penalties. You send out Rodrigo's only 19. You send out, you send out half.
Yeah.
I was bemused. You save your best penalty taker to the last, so he can have a moment, so he can.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is, and it's the same with what happened with. I'm sure it happened with Salah in the AFCON. In the AFCON final, I think Mane went early. No, did Mane score the winner or? I can't remember.
Either
way, basically Salah saved his penalty till last because he wanted that moment.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it's like from a. Yeah, you want to put your best takers first.
Yeah, Alan Shearer was very pro, put your best penalty taker first because it sets the tone.
Yeah, look at Messi. Get off to a good start.
Yeah, look at Messi in that penalty shootout. He just walks up to the
rolls
ball, rolls it in, and I know. I mean, I think 75% of the stadium was full of Argentina, and that obviously helps. But when you've got your main man coming up to the spot to take that first penalty, and he slots it home,
just gives you confidence.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It really does.
If you're a centre back or a 19-year-old stepping up and you've got the pressure of your nation on your shoulders. Ultimately, you don't matter how good you are, because Rodrigo's a quality player. Marquinhos is a brilliant defender.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be confident stepping up to take a pen.
No.
Whereas Neymar can step up and score a pen 9 times out of 10 probably.
Yeah.
So I think just stick your best players first, best penalty takers first, and you get off to a good start. Because like with Croatia against Japan in the shootout, Croatia step up, score their first 3. Japan miss their first 2 and end up. I think they lost 3-1 on pens, didn't they? Because they missed the next one. Just get off to a good start. You don't want to be hanging on by the 4th or 5th pen, to like relying on your better penalty takers.
Yeah,
I think that's just pretty selfish. Like you want to have that moment for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
So if we round up section 2, if you like, we sort of section 1 being World Cup and England, section 2 being World Cup general. We'll round that up on Morocco, who they deserved it.
Team of the tournament.
Yeah,
so far
they deserved it against Portugal, and it's sad to see Ronaldo kind of walk out like that. Although he's been a bit of a tart the last few weeks.
Yeah,
you do feel for him. Yeah, you know, he's never going to get that World Cup. Messi could now. But you know, Morocco are class. Obviously, Aguerd didn't feature because he's had a knock, but hopefully he'll be involved in the next game because I know Roman Saiss, who's their other main centre half, he also picked up a knock against Portugal.
He'd done his hamstring in the game before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it was confirmed whether he'd pulled it or strained it or whatever, but he was bandaged up for the game, and he'd done his hamstring, went off in extra time, I think, in the game before, and then played in that game against Portugal, went off again later on, didn't he?
I think I remember.
I'm sure he was stretchered off, Saiss. But I think injuries are sort of kept very quiet at the World Cup.
They are,
because you don't want to. If you're Aguerd, obviously for Morocco,
you'll play injured.
Looks like he's done his groin or whatever it is. You don't want to go and say, "Oh, I'm out for 6 weeks."
No,
because you want to play. Don't matter
if your
what
team
condition
progresses.
you're in.
Yeah. But yeah, the team of the tournament. I'm glad they're through. I really hope they knock the French out.
Yeah, I think everyone in England is a Morocco fan for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, isn't it? Next week.
Yeah, I think that wraps up World Cup roundup, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, we've spoken quite a bit about it, but I think it's the main thing at the moment.
Yeah, got to talk about it.
It's over now for England anyway.
Yeah.
We'll probably keep a keen eye on the rest of the tournament, but bar that, let's turn our attention to West Ham now and. We want to add a little feature to the pod every week. It's going to be, there's a Twitter page called the Wikipedia Footballers Quiz. We think it's great. You know, it's a good little thing to test your mind with. And I think actually I've just thought of an idea. So we'll post this on all of the social channels, and the first person to comment with the correct answer on each channel, so TikTok. We'll post it onto the West Ham View Facebook group. We'll post it onto the Instagram, so the first comment. Providing you obviously follow all the pages, we'll send one program to each person on each channel. So to the first person on TikTok, we'll randomly choose one.
Yeah.
And we'll send that off. First person on Instagram, we'll randomly choose one and send it off. I think that's a good little giveaway.
Yeah.
We would like to do giveaways because I think it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
People like that. So yeah,
definitely.
First person who guesses this Wikipedia player. What we'll do is now we'll put it on the screen, and yeah, obviously you can all Google the answers, but ultimately it's the quickest Googler, basically.
Yeah. First person to get it will send you a program.
Yes.
There you go.
Right.
So
we'll put it on the screen. So the first person to get that will win.
A West Ham program that we'll send out to you.
Brilliant. Okay. Final section. We want to look at West Ham, focus on West Ham now, and let's talk about the friendlies. So this week we've had 2 friendlies. I've managed to watch the Cambridge game, and I was sort of dipping in and out of the Udinese game because obviously you've got the Morocco game, which is probably a bit more exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the Udinese game yesterday. There's quite a few away fans.
Was it? I saw on Twitter actually. Someone West Ham fan posted just boarding this plane at 5:30 in the morning to go to a mid-season friendly in Italy. Like I've literally lost the plot.
That is quality.
But that's hardcore. Home and away.
Yeah. I mean,
fair play to you.
Well, I'd like to think if I had some more time on my hands, I might do it. But, that's major commitment. That's quality. Find out who that is. We'd love to.
Yeah, I'll stick it on here.
Have a feature.
I'm sure I can find it.
I mean, overall, again, they're just friendlies. I mean, Cambridge were 1-0 down.
It's just ultimately it's just a bit of fitness, isn't it? And to keep players playing whilst other players are at the World Cup.
Yeah, it was.
So that's ultimately what it is.
I think it was Greg Taylor's testimonial match for Cambridge. Who was a boyhood West Ham fan. Yeah. He actually scored the penalty as well. I think he only scored like 5 goals in his whole 10-year career or something. But he scored the penalty. Obviously, then got taken off straight away to get his ovation. But I think Randolph kind of moved out his way, let him score.
Yeah.
But bar that, okay, a few good things. Ben Rama, of course, he brought him on at half time. Ben Rama with the coaster down there. I love that coaster. It's quality. But yeah, he come on, scored a lovely goal. A few flicks and tricks. I think he obviously played Skamaka and Antonio up top. Skamaka had so many chances. Feel for the boy. But yeah, so minutes really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bowen looked okay. Not going to talk about it too much, but
no, you can't read too much into it, can you?
No,
but certain players looked
we had a lot
good.
Others
didn't so much. Yeah.
Which was good. Excuse me.
But with Ben Rama, I think it's so frustrating, and a lot of West Ham fans will know this as well. But it's so frustrating having Ben Rama, but Moyes as the manager, because Moyes has done great for us the time he's been with us. I'm not going to deny that, but he just has certain issues with certain players, doesn't he? Where he won't play them. And Ben Rama, you look at his involvements, and I know he's not gonna do the tracking back as much. He's not gonna go and win you tackles all over the pitch like someone like Souček does. But ultimately, if you leave him on the pitch, he's gonna score you goals and create chances. And to see him playing, and like you said, he come on against Cambridge, he scored and created a lot of chances. And then again against Udinese, he scored and he played well again. So
I was talking about this with someone yesterday, actually, Chelsea fan, and he was saying, "Oh, like, what do you think of Moyes? Ben Rama's a good player," and I was like, "Yeah." The trouble is, Ben Rama's a bit. He's in between luxury and your dog style, like dog type player that Moyes loves, someone who's going to get involved.
Yeah,
and he does put the effort in, but sometimes he is a little bit lazy and not even lazy. I think he can sort of. Maybe it is. I
think he just switches off sometimes.
He does, and he waits for that moment where he gets the ball and he can make something happen.
I don't think he's intentionally lazy. I think he does just switch off.
He does.
And because his whole career, I think he has been a luxury player.
Yeah.
And it's only since he's been at West Ham that Moyes has tried to sort of shape him into a bit of a sort of, you've got to put the yards in.
Yeah, he wants 10 outfield players that are going to run.
Yeah, and every now and then Ben Rama will just switch off. But ultimately, I don't mind that too much because... And the other thing is his decision making. But I think his decision making this season has been a lot better than it has in previous seasons.
Yeah. He gets goals and assists, mate.
That's all that matters.
He does.
It's not all that matters. That's a bad statement. Yeah. But ultimately, West Ham's issue this season has been scoring goals. We haven't scored as many goals as we have in the last few seasons. So get him on the pitch. Even though one of our last games in the Prem before the World Cup was Palace at home, and he started, he scores a screamer, and then gets taken off. I don't know how long into the game it was, but he gets taken off. The whole crowd are booing the decision.
Really strange.
It's very frustrating to watch, isn't it, as a West Ham fan?
Yeah, but reflecting on the friendly specifically, good to see a lot of the young lads getting a run out. I think Ekwar come on, scored a lovely goal. Potts through the middle, Lang on the back. I know he gave that penalty away, but he looked quite good on the ball.
Yeah.
Some good players coming through, and we always do. Look at Rice's tournament. He is our, it's going to be sad to see him go, but let's not talk about him too much. And then. Yeah, the only other positives, I think, looking at the game yesterday, Skamaka linked up well for 2 of the goals. He kind of dropped deep, picked up the ball. I think something I've seen with him that is really good is he drops deep, picks up the ball, and he's good at switching the play. And then he kind of gets
getting
back
it out
into
wide.
The box.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for the Antonio goal, the last goal, he dropped deep, did a 1-2, then the ball's gone down the line. Bowen's cutting off the post, great goal.
This is the thing. I think I saw a tweet, and it's someone had basically analysed his whole game and. The 2 years or 3 years he was at, was it Sassuolo he was at?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going from? Yeah, he was there. He was their number 9. He was a target man. He had their whole game plan was getting players in and around him.
Yeah.
And the ball would go to him. As we know, he holds the ball up amazingly well.
Yeah.
Very good at holding the ball up. So the ball was going up to him. He was playing in his teammates. He was going out wide. They were getting balls into the box. He was scoring a lot of goals. Since he's been at West Ham, he's been a bit isolated, obviously. And I think yesterday, the goal that we saw, like the Antonio goal, he drops in, but then you've got people running down the line. You've got someone running in behind him, and that's what you have to do. You've got to utilise that. And whereas Antonio will chase balls into the channels and chase lost causes, Scamacca's not like that. The ball will come into him, and he wants players running off him. Yeah. So
I think it's good to see.
You've just got to play to his strengths.
Absolutely.
I think
it's good to see Moyes trying them too. He's clearly trying it, but for a longer period. I think he did the whole half yesterday, and I think it's exciting to hopefully have two strikers. You know, Scamacca's the one who drops. Scamacca's the one who picks the ball up and sprays it. They can rotate that role.
But this is why they need to play together.
I know.
Because they're so good at different things. Yeah, like we said, Antonio runs in behind, he chases lost causes. Scamacca doesn't do that. He's a hold-up man, and he'll pick the ball up and he'll lay people off. And because Antonio can't do that, he's never done that. He's not as good as Scamacca in terms of his technical ability and playing in passes, but that's where you've got to use their strengths together.
I think Antonio can be the man who drops because he can be the man who had the ball's played into him and he just stands there and no one can get around him. But then it's the bit afterwards, it's like the spraying the ball, and I think that's what Scamacca's good at. He's he can do the step overs, he can sort of turn and get away from a player, but with Antonio, he's more that in behind and sort of shrugging people off and bombing down the line. But as we look ahead to the next fixtures, we've got Fulham away next week, next Saturday. Another friendly. And I think it'll be interesting then to see if he actually tries them two together again. And then before you know it, we're back with competitive football and Arsenal on Boxing Day at 8 o'clock on a Monday night.
I don't know. If you go to that game, fair play. Because, actually, I know I've seen a couple of tweets of people that have managed to get tickets and they're buzzing for it because they haven't the way that the away tickets are done. It's been quite hard to get hold of tickets, obviously, and people are buzzing to be able to go. So if you go, then great, enjoy it. But yeah, it's a very odd fixture time, isn't it?
It's a strange one.
It's a Monday night at 8 o'clock on a Boxing Day. So we'll see how that goes. And
we're playing against top of the table opposition. You know. Again, like City when we play,
I hope we do
at the
mate.
Start of the season, I always feel like that's when you play somebody after a break, or whether you play somebody, first game of the season. It's always a good time.
Best time to play them, because they're not they haven't got that momentum that they had before the World Cup. Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. They're obviously.
I'd like to see us just go for it.
Yeah.
I don't want us to turn up at the Emirates and sit back and. Basically let them play and wait for them to beat us. I don't want to see that. I want to see us go out, go for it. They've had a few players that have gone to the World Cup. They haven't got that momentum that they did have, obviously, like we said. And I want to see us just go for it. If we go for it and get beaten, then fair enough. But I don't want it to be Arsenal beat us 1-0 again because we sat off and let them play. But we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think for now, we'll probably wrap that up there. It's been, we've had to G ourselves up for this one after last night, to be honest with you.
Take a bit of time to get over, but hopefully everyone's feeling a bit better soon. By next week. And
League, we'll be back before you know it.
So catch up with you next week. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.
See you soon.
Take care.